Closing. The video montage opens on a vintage Royal Mail train engine, accompanied by a haunting title card that reads August 8, 1963, Buckinghamshire, England. As dusk turns to darkness, ... The film takes us on a journey through the picturesque rural landscape of the Cheshire countryside, as the up-special train, brimming with vital mail, approaches the bustling metropolis of London. The journey covers 70 to post office employees and loads of hefty sacks containing used banknotes, collected from several Scottish banks to undergo adequate sorting and disposal in London. Following a well-organised routine that had remained unbroken for several decades, the track had been carefully monitored by gang leader Bruce Reynolds and his dedicated crew. The crew, meticulously preparing for the crime, had rented Leatherslade Farm, a peaceful farmland situated 20 miles away from the main target, to efficiently map out railway signals and rehearse successful escape scenarios. This rigorous planning, coupled with the inherent nature of the train's predictable route, made it an ideal target for an unprecedented crime spree in British history. Map of signal tampering location, reenactment snippet. At exactly 3 a.m, near Sears Crossing, lookout Roger Caudry triggered a red signal using a glove to manipulate the lever, forcing driver Jack Mills to bring the train to a halt. Reynolds and his men boarded the locomotive, striking Mills repeatedly with iron bars in a brutal attack that left him with a fractured skull, permanent chronic headaches, and severe memory loss. To illustrate the human cost, Mills' daughter later recalled in a 2013 interview, he never regained his spark. He'd sit in silence for hours, haunted by the sound of footsteps on the train floor. The gang uncoupled the front two carriages carrying the high-value banknotes and drove the train half a mile to Bridego Bridge, where waiting trucks were loaded with 120 mail bags. The haul amounted to £2.3 million, equivalent to over £50 million today, making it the largest cash robbery in British history at the time. Police file photos, Operation Relate documents. Within hours of the audacious Great Train Robbery, Scotland Yard launched one of the largest manhunts in British criminal history. Codenamed Operation Relate, the investigation mobilised more than 600 officers, forensic specialists, and detectives who were dispatched to comb the crime scene, rail lines, nearby roads, and surrounding countryside. Every abandoned vehicle, discarded item, and reported sighting was painstakingly logged, as police raced to identify the perpetrators before they could disappear with their unprecedented haul. A major breakthrough came days later with the discovery of Leatherslade Farm in Buckinghamshire, which had served as the gang's rural hideout following the robbery. The farm appeared quiet and unremarkable, but inside, investigators uncovered a treasure trove of forensic evidence. Among the most telling finds was a discarded Monopoly board game, which the gang had reportedly used to pass time while lying low. Fingerprints lifted from the game pieces, along with prints on empty food tins, bottles, and other household items, provided investigators with crucial links to known criminals. One set of fingerprints proved especially significant, connecting the farm directly to gang member Charlie Wilson, a well-known figure in London's criminal underworld. This evidence helped police begin to piece together the structure of the gang and identify additional suspects. Surveillance, informants, and international cooperation soon followed as members of the gang attempted to flee or go into hiding. By early 1964, the investigation had culminated in the arrest and conviction of 13 men, who collectively received prison sentences totaling an extraordinary 307 years. The harshness of the punishment reflected both public outrage and the government's determination to make an example. Ringleader Bruce Reynolds was sentenced to 25 years, while Charlie Wilson received 30 years behind bars. Although the robbery itself was largely non-violent, the brutal assault on train driver Jack Mills, who was seriously injured during the heist, weighed heavily in sentencing and was cited as justification for the severe penalties. One of the most infamous figures to emerge from the case was Ronnie, a relatively minor participant whose role in the robbery had been limited and who personally handled only around £150 of the stolen money. Despite this, Biggs became one of the most recognisable names associated with the crime. In 1965, he staged a daring escape from Wandsworth Prison, scaling a wall with a rope ladder and fleeing the country. Biggs first made his way to Australia, where he lived openly for a time before relocating to Brazil. His story, part crime saga, part celebrity spectacle, reflected the enduring cultural grip of the Great Train Robbery, transforming what began as a meticulously planned theft into one of the most mythologized criminal episodes in modern British history. Ethical reflection, courtroom archive, channel logo. The robbery sparked fierce national debate, reflecting shifting social attitudes in 1960s Britain. To some, the gang were cast as swashbuckling rebels defying post-war austerity, with tabloids like The Sun dubbing them gentlemen thieves and celebrating the audacity and precision of the heist. Their carefully planned operation fed a growing public appetite for stories in which authority was outwitted, and for many, the robbers became symbols of a society beginning to question tradition, hierarchy, and deference. To others, however, the crime represented something far darker. Post Office Union leader Tom Jackson rejected the romantic framing, stating, "This wasn't glamour, it was an attack on hard-working people who risked their lives to deliver mail." For railway and postal workers, the robbery was not a clever caper, but a direct assault on ordinary people and essential public services. Archive newsreels show crowds gathering, and in some cases cheering, outside the courts, highlighting the uneasy blend of celebrity and criminal justice that surrounded the case. Historians now argue that the public reaction foreshadowed the coming counterculture, when authority and established institutions would increasingly be challenged and mistrusted. Yet the human cost cut through any sense of spectacle. The brutal assault on train driver Jack Mills left him unable to return to work and permanently altered his life. His family later described his gradual withdrawal from social life and the lasting emotional and financial strain they endured. Their account stands as a stark reminder that behind the headlines and myths, the robbery caused real and lasting harm, and that its so-called glamour masked the suffering of those who paid the highest price. Closing. Teaser for next video. Join us next time as we uncover tragic miscarriages of justice, including the case of Patrick Molloy, who died in prison in 1971 while protesting his innocence, despite weak evidence linking him to the crime. Thanks for watching True Crime Stories with Ethics. Our channel, True Stories with Ethics, uploads videos every Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday at 4 p.m. UK time equivalent to 11 a.m. US time. We focus on ethical explorations of high-profile criminal cases from the UK and USA, delving into the human stories, justice systems, and societal impacts behind each incident without glorifying violence. If you're fascinated by gripping, thoughtfully presented true crime, we invite you to subscribe to our channel, like and share our content, and never forget to hit the bell icon to receive instant notifications for every new upload. From iconic heists like the 1963 Great Train Robbery to landmark trials, such as the O.J. Simpson case, we curate top-rated stories that spark meaningful conversation about morality, accountability, and the blurred lines between notoriety and justice. Join our growing community for balanced, respectful true crime content delivered consistently on weekdays and Sundays, timed to reach audiences across both the UK and USA conveniently.